Are we on? Yes, we are. What's up, guys? It's your boy McKinley Crain here. Today, I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free movie review of the movie that I watched digitally earlier today, which is the 2021 action horror film Willy's Wonderland. So, if you didn't already know, Willy's Wonderland is a 2021. I know I already said this, but it's a 2021 action horror film. And it's clearly inspired by the video game series Five Nights at Freddy's. Although it's not based on Five Nights at Freddy's. It's not a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but it's clearly inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's. And so basically, this movie is about a a loner tough dude who breaks down in the middle of the road and basically gets a flat tire. And he's never really given a name. But in the credits it refers to him as the janitor. And this dude is our main character of the story, and this dude is played by one of the most famous actors in the world, which is Nicolas Cage. The thing is, throughout this whole movie, Nicolas Cage's character never even says a single word. Never even says a single word. I mean, you can tell what he's thinking. And you can tell what he's trying to do in this movie, but he never actually says a word in this movie. And so basically what happens is his car breaks down, and when he goes to pay for no, his car doesn't break down. He gets a flat tire, and when he goes to pay for the tire, the mechanic or whatever is just like, I don't take credit cards, pay me in cash. But of course, the main character doesn't have any cash, and so basically the mechanic says, okay, we'll make out a deal. If you work at Willy's Wonderland and clean the place up, I will give you your car back, and you'll be let off free of charge. And so basically he agrees to that without even saying a word. What he does is he just nods his head. And so basically, he's cleaning cleaning up the place, and apparently the place Willy's Wonderland is basically like Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, but it's also like a demonic version of Chuck E. Cheese, of Chuck E. Cheese's or whatever. It's like a kid's place with animatronics and stuff like that. Like it's like a kid's restaurant slash just play place or whatever, with like a restaurant or with animatronics or whatever. It's got like a whole bunch of animatronics or whatever in there. But the thing is, in this movie, that particular restaurant hadn't been doing very well because it had been like a legend it had been like kind of like a legend, aka or rumor, aka like rumor that was like spreading around the town in this movie, that kids had been dying at Willy's Wonderland, and the animatronics had been the ones killing them. So basically, they hadn't been doing very well. So basically, Nicolas Cage's character is just cleaning up, right? And then he notices that the animatronics come to life. Yeah, the animatronics come to life. meaning that they actually start moving around, and it's making just basically just doing their own things, and they start trying to kill him, of course. And the thing is, Nicolas Cage's character in this movie is a very tough character, and he's obviously had a lot of fighting like techniques taught to him or whatever. He has a lot of fighting skills, so yeah, he actually stands a chance against the animatronics, and yeah, the whole movie is basically him surviving the animatronics, and trying to take them down, and trying to get out, and trying to get out of the restaurant alive, and trying to figure out why this is happening. But the thing is, the figuring out stuff is usually what the side characters in this movie do. The main character just fights, essentially. He's just the fighter. And Nicolas Cage is great in this movie. This movie has great acting, great action and horror scenes, really fun action and horror scenes. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but it is a great movie. Everything in this movie is great. It's just that nothing in this movie is perfect. Is this movie as good as Nicolas Cage's most previous horror movies, like Mom and Dad, Color Out of Space, and Mandy? No, all three of those movies are better than this movie. Mom and Dad is a little bit better than this movie. Mandy is much better than this movie, and Color Out of Space is also much better than this movie. But this is still a great Nicolas Cage horror movie. Although it's not his best horror movie, it's still a great horror movie. It's still a great Nicolas Cage horror movie, and it was still a blast. And it's got good writing. It's obviously unoriginal. It's kind of an unoriginal movie because well, it's an original movie, but it's an unoriginal story. But the unoriginal story is basically turned into its own original kind of story, if that makes sense. Like, the people who made this movie took an unoriginal type of way to tell a story, and made their own version of it, made it original, if that makes sense. And this is just a great movie. It's not for everybody, but if you're like me and you like this kind of stuff, then it is for you. Well, what I mean is you'll probably like it, because I can't guarantee that, because I can't read your mind. But anyway, this movie is actually the tone is very lighthearted compared to a lot of Nicolas Cage's other horror movies, but the story is very dark. This movie's story is very dark, but this movie seems to have a lighthearted tone for most of the time, a very lighthearted fun tone. I mean, it is a horror movie, and it's got a whole bunch of horror elements in it, but I noticed that it was significantly lighthearted than his past horror movies have been. Significantly more lighthearted than his past horror movies have been. This was just a really fun movie, and had a really satisfying ending, and a really satisfying beginning, and it was just a really satisfying movie, and it's a really fun movie, and it's really bonkers. It's a really bonkers movie, and bonkers in a good way. And I love this movie. It's a great movie, and I'm going to give this movie an 86% out of 100%, which is the equivalent of an A-. Like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return.